Hello and welcome back to another episode of the Gym Brats podcast presented by gymowners.com. I am your host, Hannah. Welcome back to the show. If you're new here, welcome. You are now a gym brat. Congratulations. If it's not your first time, welcome back. I'm so happy to see you again. On today's episode, we are going to be talking about the college experience bodybuilding style. Okay, so what brought me to this topic was Alex Earle's new podcast. She just dropped a new podcast, and I'm a follower on TikTok. I like her. So I wanted to check out her podcast, and the whole thing is her talking about her college experience, which if you don't follow her, she went to Miami, and she had the craziest college experience I can ever imagine. And it must be normal for some people, but it was not for me. And I couldn't help but think about how different our college experiences were. So she goes on this story about how it's like 9 o'clock at night and her friends want her to go out. And so she takes a nap, goes out. And then at 5 a.m. that same day, she goes straight from the party to the airport. And then her NFL boyfriend picks her up from class. And I was like, wow. My college experience was nothing like this. My college experience was me getting into bodybuilding. And so I just wanted to share kind of my college experience and how it was different from a lot of people's, but I think there's some takeaways that anyone could take from mine. So we're going to dive into my college experience, which started in, how old am I? 2017. I went to the University of Missouri, also called Mizzou. And I don't think I had the typical college experience. And as I was listening to Alex Earle's podcast, she's sitting in a bed with all of her college friends, and they're talking about how amazing their college experience was and how much partying they did and how cool that was and how they're so glad they met each other. And they're like, if you're a freshman and you haven't met your people, don't worry, you're going to. And I was like, wow, I have a totally different opinion on college because of what my experience was like. So, like I said, I started college in 2017 as a freshman at Mizzou. And at first it was fun. I did some going out freshman year. But then sophomore year, I moved into an apartment basically on my own. And I did not have as easy as a time as Alex and her friends did, making friends and going out. I wasn't super interested in going out all that much. I did my fair share of drinking and parties and things freshman year and also high school. And by that time, I was just looking for something that I could be passionate about and that I could work hard towards. And I'm not saying going out is bad. I still did it obviously, but I really wasn't as interested in that anymore. And so my college experience took a whole different turn. Sophomore year of college, I moved into an apartment and I missed competitive cheerleading so much. I missed just the working hard aspect. I was going to fitness classes, but it wasn't pushing me cheerleading or competitive gymnastics, things like that did. And so I was looking for something like that. And I was on Instagram a lot, as college girlies are. And I came across girls in my college that were doing bikini shows. They were doing bodybuilding bikini competitions. And so I was going through their Instagrams and I find this coach that's local, and I contacted him, and I wasn't very muscular. I wasn't working out super a lot, but I just contacted him and I was like, I really want to do a bodybuilding competition. Where do I start? And I had no muscle on me and I was just, doing Pilates or whatever. And so we jump into an off season, as you call it, a building season together, where I went from 0 to full meal plan, full workout plan, everything. And I just poured my whole heart into it. I just was okay, this is what my life is now. I'm a bodybuilder, even though I wasn't. I had no muscle and I didn't know what I was doing. So there I am in class with my little bag of almonds. Okay, let me go back. So he gives me a full workout plan, which is a typical bodybuilding split. So it's arm day, back day, chest day, leg day. So I go from 0 to full split. I'm sore every single day. So each day I do arms, my arms are sore. The next day I have to do legs. Now my arms and legs are sore. The next day I do back, my arms, legs, and back are sore. So it's just this compounding thing. I'm getting super sore, and I'm eating a meal plan. So I went from my previous eating habits were a coffee and Cheez-Its, and that was it, to you're going to eat meal 1 at this time, meal 2 at this time, meal 3 at this time, a snack, and then meal 4. And I stuck to that the day he gave it to me, freshman year of college, until 2 years after I graduated college. So I basically went from coffee and Cheez-Its and cooking whatever my parents made me to chicken and vegetables and almonds and oatmeal and peanut butter and vegetables and whatever. So that was my college experience. It started kind of partying, but then extremely took a left turn into like this whole like bodybuilding world. And so instead of having like the typical college experience, I went from kind of being like a partier to waking up every morning to get my steps in, to going to class, to working out, to eating, to going to sleep. And I repeated that like basically all of sophomore year. Like that's really all that I was doing. Like there was no time to meet people. There was no time to make friends. And looking back, I think I kind of used it as an escape. Like I didn't want to put myself out there. I was scared to make friends. I was super anxious. And I saw bodybuilding as a way where I didn't have to do any of those uncomfortable things. I could just call myself a bodybuilder, and that could be my excuse for not even trying to put myself out there anymore. So I kind of dove into it head first. I met some people through that, which was cool, but I became like super isolated all throughout college, and basically until senior year of college, I was pretty isolated and just like tunnel vision focused. And when you are that into something and you don't really have people around you that help you see the outside, you get like even more sucked into it. So that's really kind of, I've mentioned before, like some of my disordered eating came from. It was me in my own head, and like this meal plan and this workout plan was like all I really had. So I put like everything into it. And it started to get to a place where it was not healthy. So 2019 is when I did my first competition. I was still in college. And at that point, I started to skip class because I was so tired and exhausted and just focused on like surviving each day. So at one point, I don't like to say specific numbers, but my calories were very low. And I was so tired, but I had to do cardio. So it was like I was taking all of the energy I had from my very, very low calories and putting it towards getting on the Stairmaster. It's to the point where I was mad at myself for not going to class, but looking back, I'm like, how could I have walked to class after I just did 90 minutes of Stairmaster? Like, I was prioritizing the wrong things clearly, but I did end up graduating college. So shout out me for making it through. But it was difficult. It was so hard. And if I could go back, I think I would have told myself just to take a little bit of a step back. Like, I think at the time I thought my future could have been bodybuilding in some way, but fast forward now, I'm like, I wish I would have made friends instead. I wish I would have focused on school more instead. I had plenty of credits that I could have double majored, and I just couldn't because I was failing classes and having to retake classes instead of double majoring. And it was all because I had this like obsession with my body and my food and working out, where school ended up taking just a backseat to the bodybuilding that I was doing. And that I wasn't alone in that either, which I met someone who also was doing that, who was super into bodybuilding, and they ended up like dropping out and having to go back home because they're like too exhausted to go to class, or like just so focused on like bodybuilding that they just didn't care about school anymore. And I think that some of that, not that it's blame on the bodybuilding community at all, but there is kind of like this mentality of like, if you're not doing everything and you're not so disciplined and you're not, whatever, killing yourself to be great on stage, then like you're like a less than bodybuilder. Like you're not taking it seriously. And grind culture to a T is how I would describe the bodybuilding community back then. So I think the whole point of this, I would say, is don't miss out on life for something that's so temporary and so fleeting. I missed out on a lot of life in those 4 years because I was so focused on what my body looked like and just the competitive nature of something that now doesn't really matter. So I think if I could go back and tell myself something, it would be relax, chill. Like, bodybuilding is like not the end all be all. Like there were so many other things that I could have put that energy towards that would have helped me grow even more. I think I had this idea that bodybuilding is what's going to make me grow as a person and get me to where I want to go. And in the end, it kind of did the opposite for me. It was really isolating. And so I would just say, if you're in any position where you feel like that, try and take yourself back. Take a step back, try and look at it as future you, like 10 years from now. Like, do you want to say that you had a really great physique? Or do you want to say, I had really good friends, I had really good memories? So that is what I wanted to leave you with today. If you are in college, put yourself out there. It gets better, but also if you're in college and you don't like it, it's okay. There's nothing wrong with you. You don't have to have an amazing college experience. Like my life now is like so much better than I ever could have imagined it when I was in college. So if you're in college and people are telling you this is the best time of your life and you're not having a good time, don't worry. It actually does get better. So that would be my advice to you. This was the college edition of the Gym Brats podcast. If you have any follow-up questions for me or anything you want to chat about, go to my Instagram. It's the Gym Brats pod. I'd be happy to chat. But yeah, if not, just subscribe to the podcast on Spotify, Apple, and YouTube, and I will catch you in the next one. Don't forget to eat your protein and drink your water. Bye, Gym Brats.